One thing about me, I search for representation in everything, especially when it comes to the media I watch and the video games I play. I've uploaded a few videos examining the representation of my phenotype in the TV shows I watch, and now I would like to cross over to the games I play, specifically the games I played on stream with you guys. Why am I like this? Well, I'm no therapist, but I'm at that weird part of life where I'm having these "that's so Raven" moments where instead of seeing the future, I'm seeing the past. I'm remembering moments in life where people had me fucked up. And most of these "that's so Raven" flashbacks are times where I was confronted with colorism or one of the many side effects like being ostracized. And I've spoken about this in all of my black girl representation videos. But black girls are treated very differently than non-black girls in like the worst possible ways. And this goes on within and outside of our community. When I was a child, I always was aware of the mistreatment or difference in treatment towards me and girls of my phenotype. I didn't have the vocabulary back then to truly express what was happening. Even if I did, so many people participate in the constant humiliation, berating, and overall abuse towards black women. They would have gaslit me anyway. Gaslit meaning gaslight, meaning they would have tried to make me feel crazy about what I was experiencing, or try to be intentionally dishonest and try to convince me that the issues like colorism and texturism was my individual issue because of some deficiency I had. It was a struggle to navigate through those moments in life. And unfortunately, those gaslighting tactics are still very prevalent today. Anytime I see a black woman discussing our plight, there's always someone trying to discredit it. I was aware of the effect this culture was having on black girls around me. When your image is often and intentionally associated with negativity and stereotypes, it hinders your self-esteem. And with no one to defend our image, many black girls develop toxic coping mechanisms. One common behavior that I often see a lot, even to this day, is black women trying to dissociate with their blackness, and especially their black features. Black women would often try to identify with other brown girls, such as mixed or biracial women. Black girls would try to convince everyone around them that their features were not of blackness, but something else, anything else. Black girls saw the benefit of being ambiguous over being black. They recognized the positive treatment associated with being not black and would try very hard to be in that space. This turned into allowing non-black or mixed women to replace our image as black women. Society and the black community had already shown through media and treatment that mixed or biracial women and their phenotype was the preference. And that kind of forced black women to allow other women the authority to represent us and our image. It's my theory that black women who are complacent with this think that the positive treatment associated with mixed or biracial women would somehow trickle down to them. But this is not the case and couldn't be further from the truth, which is why I know having these conversations, especially amongst black women, are so important. Personally, I have always wanted my own representation for my phenotype. I always wanted to see more of me and double down on what people thought I shouldn't be proud of. As far as I remember, I never hated my skin, how deep it was, how dark it is, or my hair. I had moments where I was frustrated because of the lack of education and care towards black women overall. I didn't appreciate the influence of changing the way I looked to bring it away from my blackness in order to be accepted or feel desirable. But I understand how many black girls succumb to self-esteem issues inflicted by our culture, media, and society. It is completely understandable. That's why I enjoy creating this series. In addition to presenting a point of view to outsiders, I aim to help black women identify the various subliminal insults towards our collective image in the media that we consume. So yeah, I say all this to say, representation matters. Please like and subscribe. And if you have an issue with any race-themed videos that I do, you know where the door is. Animal Crossing has been one of my favorites since it came out on GameCube. And Animal Crossing New Horizons is the entire reason I purchased the Nintendo Switch in the first place. For me, the best new feature of the gameplay is the ability to customize, for the first time ever, a non-white character. For once, I can make a character that looks like me. Never before have I been able to change my skin color on Animal Crossing. With New Horizons, black girls can choose from 4 different skin tones, and there's a nice amount of notable black hairstyles. So black women hair is often the subject of controversy. In my home state of California, There had to be a legislative bill created and passed banning all discrimination against Black women natural hair and natural hairstyles. All over the country, Black women were being fired from their jobs, excluded and unjustly disqualified from job opportunities, removed from classrooms, and a plethora of bullying through systematic racism, all because of our natural hair. The Crown Act passed in only 12 of the 50 United States, not including the state I reside in now, by the way. We received so much hate for our natural hair, and I think it only got worse after the natural hair movement was co-opted by biracial women and turned into a celebration of their hair type over ours. Our reality is Black women are more likely to be mistreated for wearing her natural hair or in natural hairstyles, like braids or locks. It's difficult to find beauty in our hair when so many people in various ways are telling us how much they hate it. So when Animal Crossing included these hairstyles, it was a wonderful surprise. It gave their Black girl fan base something to celebrate. They were acknowledging our image positively, and they did a good job recreating our hair texture. I love how you can tell the difference in character hair texture between the straighter flat hairstyles versus our afro textured Black hairstyles. So there was some Animal Crossing controversy that popped off at the debut of the Afro puff hairstyle. This is how I remember it. A non-Black gamer gave her white character the Afro puff hairstyle, and she might or might not have started the term space buns. Apparently, Black girl gamers were said to have gotten mad at the use of the hair, possibly called her racist. I remember the gaming community more so being on the side of the non-Black gamer in this situation, chastising the Black girl gamers and telling them essentially, anyone can use that hairstyle, it's not yours to control. And now the Afro puff hairstyle is popularly known as space buns in the Animal Crossing community. So this is how I feel about the whole thing. First and foremost, the hairstyle is called Afro puff, not space buns. The term space buns is just another way to gaslight Black women, and I take great offense when people refer to this style as space buns. The hairstyle is commonly seen on Black women of all ages. It's a natural style that doesn't require much manipulation to our hair in its natural state. Even when you look at the hairstyle in the game, you can tell that she has cornrows in the back of her head. I see right through to the malicious intent behind the renaming of our hairstyle in this game. Most women understand that the society we live in has created a hierarchy of desirability and beauty amongst all women based on what you look like, aka your race and your phenotype. Whiteness and the features associated with it, such as flat, straight hair, is at the top of the hierarchy, and Black women along with our features are at the bottom. I feel like the overall difference in popularity and treatment of Black women compared to non-Black women in any space isn't hard to tell apart for anyone with a pulse living in America, but it's also demonstrated largely through our media. I go into further detail in my Black Girl Representation series. Check out those videos, links in the description. Because most of these non-Black women know that they are typically valued more in society compared to Black women, they will often use that power against us. Non-Black gamers knew what they were looking at when they saw our hairstyle in that game, but because they liked the hairstyle or thought it was cute, subconsciously or not, they didn't want to associate it with Black women or give us the satisfaction of calling one of our features cute. Hence the renaming of the style. It's just like Psy from Peach Girl. Have you ever seen Peach Girl, the anime? Okay, well, Psy is Momo's hating ass frenemy, and in the first episode, the two of them are shopping for a bag. When Momo picks up the bag, Psy instantly starts ragging on it, telling Momo the bag is ugly and just destroying her sense of style. The next day, Psy shows up at school with the same bag, and everyone's complimenting her with it. Suddenly, the bag has value again. That's how I feel being a Black woman. We see certain features of ours placed on non-Black women and they're being praised and called beautiful, but on us, our own features are unacceptable.
And Natalie, there were two girls actually affected by this policy, this hair policy. Now they do have the option to return to classes, but so far they have not done that. Their attorneys say they plan to meet with school officials and their attorneys on Monday and hopefully work something out. Now we're talking about that viral video that shows an 11-year-old girl in tears leaving her school because of her hairstyle. Well, today that same girl stood in front of cameras with dry eyes. Holding on to her family for support, 11-year-old Faith Finity stood in front of cameras wearing the same hairstyle that got her kicked out of school. The video of Faith leaving Christ the King School in tears has been viewed more than 2.5 million times. School officials say Faith violated school policy by wearing extensions in her hair. Today, her brother, Stephen Finity, spoke on the family's behalf.
This is why hair will always evoke such a strong emotion from Black women, whether it's coming from inside or outside our community, or hell, even when it's coming from each other. Usually Black women hair is the target that everybody seems to go for. We are chastised, bullied, berated, and just tortured all over what grows out of our head naturally. And as you can see, it has real life consequences. Because I see through to the malicious intent of space buns, I don't blame Black girls for having a reaction. Gaslighting is annoying. People only recognizing your features in a negative light on you is annoying. And so I can see why Black girl gamers looked at it as theft instead of appreciation. It's not appreciation. If it were, they wouldn't try to rename the style to something more neutral. If you innocently just like the style and just wanted to wear the style, you would do just that. But by renaming it proves that you don't want Black girls to have anything worth complimenting. They changed the name of the hairstyle to space buns so that it can have an entirely different purpose, such as a costume, instead of being what it truly is, which is positive representation of Black girl hairstyle in this game. Because I am a Black woman and I have a deep understanding of our specific discrimination as well as experience, plus I'm not in denial about anti-Blackness, I sympathize with the Black girl gamers who spoke out against it, and I understand where the backlash comes from. And I'm not saying that people can't design their characters however they want. Of course you can. If you're not a Black girl or not familiar with the Black community, you probably wouldn't recognize such a well-known hairstyle because it's not a part of your community, it's not a part of you. But your ignorance isn't an excuse to rename the hairstyle. I know this country specifically has a habit of discovering already known things, but none of that over here. And yes, I'm aware that there are many Black male gamers who were defending the non-Black gamer in this situation. But if I'm going to be completely honest, if there's ever a situation where it's Black women versus anybody, Black males are more likely not on our side. Aside from proving that they have more of a white supremacist mentality, most Black males are gender first, whereas most Black women are foolishly race first. If you appreciate conversations like this, please be sure to check out my growing playlist, which at the moment is titled Black Girl Representation Series, where I analyze all Black girl representation in some of my favorite TV shows such as Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and The Boys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. And if you start crying nonsense in my comments, just know that
I don't care.